So I think in true Mandala Vatika tradition, we will begin the session. I'm Hari and I'm one of in the Mandala Vatika. I'm one of the team members of Mandala Vatika, and it is my pleasure to introduce Prabhakar ji. So Prabhakar ji is familiar to all of us. He wears a lot of hats in his. He wears a lot of hats in terms of what all he does. He is the chairman of SSIIT, the Agricultural Trust. He's a renowned seed keeper. He's a landscape architect and has been involved in many renowned constructions like Palm Island Beach, Central Vista, etc. Um, and but more than anything, I find, like, knowing him personally, I find the breadth of his knowledge is incredible. I have not known anybody else who can wear so many hats at the same time and do justice to each of them. And you can come from a place of like being an expert in mathematics. You can come from like physics, from agriculture, like cymatics, any of these fields. And even as an expert, you have a discussion with Prabhakar ji, you can have a really deep intellectual discussion with him. At the same time, he also brings the heart element, being an art of living teacher, like that tattva of the heart also he brings along with all this. So truly, I find it a privilege in my life to interact with somebody like Prabhakar ji. So I will hand it over to him to continue the session and start today's session. Please, over to you, Prabhakar.
Om Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Jai Gurudev to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me today. And one second, let me just set my background a bit, because we always have this beautiful picture of our Mandala Vatika. Yeah. This feels more like home. So thank you very much for joining. We have some very old faces here today. I see Tony here. Hi, Tony. Welcome. Akusua, she's here. Long time. Cindy from Mauritius. Dr. Ishita is here. Hima Bindu. Hi. Jyotsna, of course, is a regular visitor. We've got Ravi, we've got Priyanka, Suman, Pavan, Suchit. So welcome to all of you. I'm sure many more will join. But it is so lovely to be with you all once a month, and gives me great privilege to be a part of this live Mandala Vatika session. Yeah. So the format here is that you can please share on chat any questions that you have on Mandala Vatika, and it will help me a lot to take this evening session forward. We have already some questions which have come in, and these were mailed to me by Aarti, and she had sent them by mail to team@mandalavatika.com, which is our support email ID. And she has two questions. The first one is, what is the difference between Yantra and Mandala? Yeah. So let's try to analyze this and understand this very clearly. What are the similarities first between a Mandala and a Yantra? First of all, they are both patterns, something that is etched on paper or metal or rock. So it's a drawing. Two, both of them have some geometry in it. So they are not just random drawings. They have a certain geometry to it, which means that there are specific ratios, there are specific dimensions, there are specific angles, which are important to constructing this in 2D. Yeah. And both of them have something to do with tattvas, that is, creative forces which shaped this universe, which we call today as, Durga or Varamahalakshmi or Siddhivinayaka. We have given names for these wave frequencies whose interactions created this entire Maya of the universe that we experience. We know very well that nothing is created. It's just an illusion of creation. But nonetheless, it is very real to us. And interacting with these powerful energies, frequencies, tattvas, which shape the universe, is a function of both mandalas and yantras. So, as you can see, at least on 3 counts, there is a lot of similarity. A, they are drawings. 2, they have geometry in them. And 3, they have an association with the tattvas or the frequencies or the wave functions that have shaped this universe. But that's where the similarity ends. The yantra technology is a technology where this particular drawing, usually it is something that is etched on something more permanent like copper or stone or some other metal. And it is a permanent thing. That is, it is not ephemeral. It is not something that is drawn and then destroyed. It is something that is permanent. And it is something where continuous invocation of the tattva on that particular sacred geometry is said to infuse the properties of that particular wave function to that drawing, to that yantra. And that is a technology which has a lot to do with tantra. And unfortunately, I'm sure it must have been a beautiful science, but today, because of the way it has been taken forward, a lot of gaps in the knowledge, it has become very perverted. So like I say in my courses, today if you go to Amazon and just type in yantra, oh my God, it just spews hundreds of yantras. Yeah. You want somebody to fall in love with you? There is a yantra for that. You want somebody to fall out of love with you? There is a yantra for that. You want your boss to get transferred or leave the company? There is a yantra for that. I mean, it is become so commercial, so perverted in the way it is used. And also, there have been several instances where people have got into this yantra technology, but suffered immense misfortune in their own lives. So obviously, it is one of those very, it's like a quicksand. Yeah, once you get into it, there's a good chance that you may just get engulfed by the whole thing. And which is why a lot of people stay away from it. And those who get into it, I have personally seen several people end up in a lot of misery. And the reason for this is twofold. One, I believe that the science must have been very perfect, but the practitioners are not so perfect. So the science itself, maybe, I don't know much about yantras, but maybe the science itself is a very perfect science. But the practitioners of this science, I believe, do not have the full knowledge of what they are doing. And because you're dealing with fundamental forces that have created the universe, any little bit of mistake here or there or some, wrong input given could lead to disastrous results. The analogy that I usually take for this is we all are used to working with our laptops and our iPads and mobiles and whatever, but we work with a desktop where we use software like Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office, or we use web browsers or something, where we are only dealing at a higher level language, and whatever we input, it answers us. But Yantra technology as well as Mandala technology, you are dealing with machine language, which means it's definitely more powerful, because it will allow you to do things that your higher language program will not allow you to do. But if you should make very small mistakes in the input, your whole computer crashes. So I believe that one, Yantra, perfect science, perhaps, but the practitioners, not so much. Two, there is no protection. When you're dealing with something that is so powerful, you need a kavach, you need a shield, like a Faraday's cage. When we are dealing with very high voltage in a lab, the people inside the lab are protected because we have something called a Faraday's cage, which shields you from that excessive voltage. So even if you get hit, it's just on the outside of the cage, nothing penetrates and hurts you. So two reasons why I think yantras are a bit of a gray area to venture into. One, the practitioners, I don't think, have got it right. Maybe a few of them do, I don't know. But generally, when you see the kind of advertising that is going on, you know that there is something really wrong with this technology. I mean, a profound technology like Yantra could not be for getting your boss transferred. I'm sure there is a deeper purpose for all this. And if somebody is using it for something so superficial, I don't know, it immediately flags to me certain warning bells. Yeah. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, like I said, there is no protective shield. And I think that is where Mandala Vatika is really the Rolls Royce of exploring and using these fundamental wave functions to surf this Maya rather than struggle against this Maya. So how does Mandala differ? The Mandala is purely ephemeral. It is temporary. Usually, it is drawn on sand, and once the mandala puja is done and the tattva is invited into your reality, the drawing has no meaning. People just sweep it off. The Buddhists, for example, take nearly 30 days to create a mandala. It's so intricate. But once the puja is done, they just take a broom and then, sweep the whole thing off. That's it. Like in Mandala Vatika, we do. I mean, we draw it on the paper. After that, you shred the paper and put it in a pot for plants or something like that. And that's it. The geometry does not have any other purpose than allowing the tattva, creating a portal for the tattva to enter your reality. After that, that portal has got no value. It is just, as good as another piece of paper, right? So that is the first difference. Yantras are permanent things, and you have to keep on invoking the tattva. The more it is said, the more you invoke the wave function, the stronger the yantra becomes. In Mandala, it is a very ecologically friendly. It is use and dispose. There is no accumulating. Yeah. It is one time use only. It's like a single use plastic. Yeah. One time you use and it served its function, and that's it. That's all there is to it, right? So the mandala is first of all temporary. And secondly, we have a living master, Pujya Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar Ji, who has signed a karmic bank guarantee with the universe, saying that these are my children who are going to play with these tattvas. I take responsibility for them. Let them be. I am going to guarantee that nothing will happen, and I will make sure that they are protected, and just let them be, because he has stuck his neck for us. In Yantra, it is not like that. There is no kavach. Yes, there are some mantras chanted for protection, but there is no living guru, the guru tattva that is embedded in a physical form, in a living person, who is making the kavach for us, who is making that protective shield so that we can intimately relate to these tattvas. It's like a friend. We invite Siddhi Vinayaka, hey, come over. Been a long time, missed you. Come in. Or Durga Devi. We relate to all these tattvas like on a one-to-one basis, just like friends. To do this with that level of intimacy, you require the protection of a master. So these are the differences and similarities. So what are the similarities between a yantra and a mandala? A, both are some sort of drawings. Two, both have got sacred geometry embedded in them. And three, both of them have some relation to the fundamental wave functions that created this Maya, this illusion that we call the universe. What is the difference? The difference is that yantras are permanent drawings, mandalas are just very temporary, ephemeral. They're just for creating a portal. Once the portal is used by the tattva, it doesn't have any meaning after that. So it's a one-time use. Secondly, the most important is that Mandala Vatika has the protection of a living master. Yantras do not have that. And that is why I believe this is really the Rolls Royce to serve the Maya. And I believe that, we have a very compassionate master. I don't know whether we are really ready to be blessed with a technology like this, but yet our master is so compassionate. He says, it's okay. I know this toy is a little advanced for your age, but nonetheless, I will look after you, play with it. I will see that nothing goes wrong. That is the compassion of a living master. And that is why we have Mandala Vatika. Yeah? So I think that is one of the questions that was raised by Aarti, and I hope I have answered that. The second question she asks is, do all sacred geometry mandalas have healing potential? Chakras, flower of life, seed of life, and the others. Okay. So the question is whether sacred geometry has any healing potential. That is what she has asked. Now, if I need to answer this, we need to understand clearly where this question is coming from. In Mandala Vatika, why do we do the circle of life or the flower of life or the seed of life or any of these drawings? We do this so that it is a practice. It's a way of getting familiar with using the compass and the set squares and, everything else. It's a way of familiarizing ourselves with drawing sacred geometry before we actually attempt the mandala. Right? However, while doing this, while even drawing the flower of life, how many of you have felt something? How many of you have felt something? A lot of people, while drawing even the flower of life, you feel something. There is some resonance in what is happening, because the language of God, the Creator, is sacred geometry. Sacred geometry is the language by which the divine Creator expresses himself in creation. Everywhere you see in this world, you will see how beautiful there is sacred geometry embedded. You look at a flower, you look at a leaf, you look at ripples in the water, you look at crystals, you look at anything, you will see both fractals and sacred geometry. Everywhere in the universe, it's full of it, because that's the language of God. Yeah. And that's the language. Therefore, when you are writing the language of God, definitely there is a very good chance that you express, that you experience some aspect of the divine. Which is why flower of life, when you draw, or you draw the Metatron cube, there is something that happens because you are doing something that resonates with the fundamental language of creation and the creator. Therefore, yes, there is that. Whether that translates particularly into healing, I do not know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Best way to find out is do it and see. If you feel that you have some bodily ailment and you wish to know whether drawing sacred geometry does anything to it, I would say the best way to do it is find out is do it, But intuitively, I would say, when you are resonating by drawing the language of the creator, when you're resonating with the creator, definitely that resonance will align you. When I say alignment, what is disease? It is dis-ease. You're not at ease. That's a disease. And when are you not at ease? When you're not in alignment. When you're not in alignment, you're not at ease, right? Okay, there is a room full of people. All of them are aligned to a certain idea, but you will be not at ease if your idea is very different from the rest of the room, because you are not in alignment. When you resonate with the creator, I believe that some alignment happens. It's like you have got iron filings on a piece of paper, very random, and you just put a magnet under that, and suddenly everything gets aligned into a beautiful toroidal pattern, right? It's a toroidal pattern that gets beautifully. So every iron filing aligns itself. So I believe just like that, if the creator was a magnet and we were certain iron filings, very, very disoriented, like most of us, most of people in this world are, and then suddenly you're doing something where you start to resonate with the creator, it is very likely that each cell in your body will start to align itself. So intuitively, do I think there is a connection between healing and drawing sacred geometry? I would say yes. But is there a proof? I think the best proof would be your own experience. So I would answer both these questions this way. And I hope, Aarti, you will be seeing this recording and you will know that I've addressed your concerns. Then, Akuswa, I was reviewing my notes and found that I wrote something that is confusing to me. What we call male energy wants to be still, whereas the female energy wants movement. But when the male energy starts to move, the female energy is required to cool it down. These two sentences seem contradictory to me. If the female energy wants movement, then how can it cool down the male energy, which is already still? Did I get this wrong in my notes? Thank you. So, yes, let's try to understand where this question is coming from. Now, it comes from two parts of my course, and you would have perhaps noted that down in the notes somewhere, but in your notes, you're reading both of these in conjunction. So what we had said was that the male energies, by and large, the Purusha is the Vedic name given to the male energy, and Prakriti, so it could be Shiva and Shakti, or Purusha and Prakriti. Basically, these are two opposing forces. So one force is still, because that's where actually that's the platform on which this Maya of the universe can be created. And the second force is the one which actually creates the Maya, right? So Shakti is the force that creates the Maya. The male energy, the Purusha, is the one that gives the fundamental substratum on which this creation can take place. So the Purusha by itself does not get too involved with the creative process, because it just provides the platform. It's like there is a stage in an auditorium and there is a play that happens. The entire drama that happens, the play that happens, the character, the creation of the story, the characters, the sound, the lighting, blah, 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 that is the female energy, to be understood as a female energy, or the Prakriti. But the stage itself, the auditorium and the stage itself, the platform on which this drama happens, could be looked at as the male energy. The male energy is fundamental, because that is where the entire drama takes place. So the male energy is more or less like a witness. It just witnesses what the drama, but doesn't get involved per se in the drama that is happening. So just imagine this: an auditorium and a stage, that is the Purusha, and the actual drama, the play that happens inside, its story, its characters, the interactions, the backdrops, the lighting, the music, everything is a function of Prakriti, the Parvati, the Shiva, Shakti energy. Yeah, the Shakti energy. The Shiva is the platform. So once we understand this, where does this one come? When the female energy starts to move, it is required to cool down. No, this actually came up in Durga Mandala Vatika and in others also. What happens is, in the process of creation, it is a yin and yang. So there are two opposing forces. In our Vedas, we call them the Devi Devas and the Asuras. So the Devas and the Asuras. So you have the Devas, which is the energies programmed to give us all the bliss, enjoyment, fulfillment, happiness, blah, blah, blah. And then you've got the Asuric energy, which is the one that will make you struggle. It will leave you in ignorance. It creates negative energies like jealousy, greed, anger, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So these two forces are always in conflict with each other, which is what creates the entire drama. Now, what happens? Both these energies appeal to the male energies for heightened powers. So it's like, so we have this stage, the drama is going to happen, but one of the characters in the play sort of appeals to the stage to get more spotlights on him. So he becomes the more powerful person in that particular play. So like that, the Asuras, the ones who are involved with what we call the negative qualities in humanity or in this universe, now they appeal to the male energies like Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, etc. They do a lot of tapas for eons they will do gore tapas. That means intense, tapas, that is intense physical, practice, which when finally the male energy has no option, it will come and say, okay, I'm so pleased with your, invocation of me. Ask what you want and it shall be granted. And then the asura will ask for something, saying that, I want to be given a boon that I cannot be killed by water or air or earth or blah blah. I cannot be killed during the day, I cannot be killed during the night, and blah blah. And the deva will say tatastu. Now once the asura has this power, he will go around creating chaos in the universe, because he's got a newfound power, and he says, I'm going to now take over the entire universe and I'll show you how to run it. And he goes destroying the order in the universe. Now, when this happens, now the devas again go running to the Trimurtis, the Trinity, and they will again do some prayers, or they will plead to him, and they will say, Lord, our entire universe is getting, destroyed because of the power you've given to this guy. Therefore, please help us out. And the Trinity says, okay, let's see what we can do. And together they create a new wave function which can go and destroy this wave function which is running amok. This asura who is running amok, the demon which is running amok in this universe. So they create another Devi. And now the Devi is a turbocharge. So it's not that Devi has started to move. The Devi has started to move and she's created the universe. But now you have a new Devi, a new avatar, which is formed by the amalgamation of some of the energies of the Trinity. And that energy is on a turbo charge. So your turbo is kicked in, and this particular Devi is now after that demon who's creating havoc, and then that demon is subdued. Up to now, everything is working according to plan. But what's happened is now the entire, so what has happened is maybe that asura asked for extra spotlight on the stage so that he became the most powerful thing. And then the Devi was created who could go and put off the switch of that spotlight on that asura. Now the Devi flicked the switch that was on the asura off, but because of the programming, started to flick all the other lights off in the auditorium and the stage. So suddenly you've got this Devi, because of the programming and the intensity which she has come, she has not only destroyed the asura, but now is starting to destroy everything else in the universe. So in that example that I gave of the stage and auditorium, we had one asura who took the spotlight on him and he started to dominate the play. Nobody else was getting focus. So the whole play was getting destroyed. The whole drama was getting destroyed because all the people could see was only this guy. Now, the stage then created an energy. So it created somebody who can go and who is programmed to go and off the switch. Now, that particular Devi, okay, went off the spotlight, which was on the asura. It didn't stop there. It started to off every other light because it is in such a hyper turbo mode. It doesn't know how to stop because it requires a huge thing to switch off that first spotlight on that asura. After that, it goes switching off everything else. So now the stage has to put this person back in place. So that is what happens. So in the case of Durga, after she kills Mahishasura, and she is on a turbo mode. After that, she's destroying everything else in the universe. Then the Deva himself, when she is rushing, the Deva lies down in front in her path, and she is coming, and she would have actually stamped and destroyed. But when she is putting her foot on the Deva, she realized, oh my God, what am I doing? So that's how this person who's putting off all the lights, he suddenly got into that awareness. Listen, you've gone beyond the call of duty. Slow down, and then all the other switches come on and the drama continues. So this is how, you could understand what it is. So the male energy only operates to cool down a hyper turbocharged female energy who was specifically brought in to subdue a rogue asura. A rogue asura, to destroy a rogue asura, a Devi was created in a hyper turbocharged mode. After destroying the asura, the turbocharge is still on. The switch is not yet off and it's going, destroying everything else. At that particular time, the male energy comes and subdues. Otherwise, in general, in the universe, the male energies provide the platform, while the drama and the maya is created by the female energies, whom we call the Shakti. Okay, so I think I have given a reasonable sort of explanation, and I think Akoswa, you would have sort of related to that. I hope I have been able to answer that. Thank you so much. We have Tony who has asked, does the Murugan Mandala in the ashram affect the surroundings, or is it like a force field only for meditation? That's a very interesting question you put up there. Now, the answer is actually twofold, because, of course, for meditating, that's the purpose of Mandala Vatika. The purpose of Mandala Vatika is to create a space where you can meditate and invite these wonderful tattvas, wave functions, into your reality and allow them to do what they are programmed to do. What are they programmed to do? The Siddhi Vinayaka is programmed to remove obstacles. Varamahalakshmi is there to bestow you the eightfold wealth, the 8 aspects of wealth. Yeah. Then we have got Durga Devi, which takes you out of stagnation in your life. And then you've got Murugan Muruga, who gives you power and courage that comes through knowledge. So Mandala Vatika, we know, is primarily for the purpose of inviting these tattvas into our universe through Mandala Vatika Puja, which involves meditation, mantras, and everything else that is there. So that there is no question. But more than that, will the mandala, just the mandala being there, does it affect surrounding space? I believe the answer is very much a yes. So Gurudev had this story he told us during the inauguration of Mandala Vatika, where he said that when they installed the Shiva temple, the new Shiva temple in the ashram, I was there during the installation. It was happened during the COVID, and it was a wonderful thing that Gurudev did for the entire planet. What was primarily installed was the mandala. The Rudra Mandala was installed, and that Rudra Mandala had to be consecrated. The Rudra Mandala was actually buried in soil, and over it, plants were grown, specific plants were grown. A few of those plants even today remain in the garden behind the Shiva temple. All this was done in perfect, perfectly following our ancient traditions that were there for the installation of a Shiva idol. And the mandala, and what Gurudev said was, the Sahasra Linga, which is there, to which we all go and pray, it is only a 0.5 for focusing human attention. It is for us to know something is there and focus our attention on it. But the power for that Sahasralinga comes through the mandala which is there. And the mandala is the portal through which that Shiva Tattva gets embedded in the Sahasralinga. And then it is giving its impact, not only in the ashram, but during the time of COVID, its impact was across the planet. The entire planet had the effect of that installation of the mandala under the Sahasralinga. Sahasralinga is something that is just for us to focus our attention. But the power of that comes from the mandala. This is what Gurudev had to share during the inauguration. So it is the mandala that is important, not the idol or the figure or the linga. That is not important. It is the mandala under it which is the important thing. So to answer your question, therefore, the first part, 100%, it does affect the surroundings. And the second question, of course, is the purpose of the mandala. Mandala itself is meant for meditation. So I hope I have answered that for you, Tony. We have Hari, a related question to what Akoswa asked. If we do a mandala for male energy like Rudra, will that reduce our interest from Maya, which is from the female energy? Really, no. It is not a direct, you can't have this direct, whether you invoke a male energy or a female energy. Like, for example, Gurudev has now blessed a new mandala, which we are now working on. And very soon we will be announcing the course on Kala Bhairava. Kala Bhairava Mandala Vatika. Kala Bhairava is the form of Rudra, who is the keeper of time. Right? Now, when we invoke Kala Bhairava will bless us in becoming a master of time rather than being a slave of time. Today, every one of us, regardless of who we are, how wealthy we are, how powerful we are slaves to time. The tick-tock, 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 we have to bow down to it. There is no escaping the passage of time. But when you invoke Kala Bhairava Mandala Vatika into your reality, it allows you to become a master of time in a very special way. And our exploration now in that direction is giving us fascinating understanding of how this entire tattva works. So it is not that it will make us reduce our interest in Maya, not at all. All Mandala Vatika is about surfing the Maya, enjoying the Maya, becoming the best versions of ourselves in the Maya. It has nothing to do with detachment. It has nothing to do with samadhi or enlightenment in that sense where you are completely detached from everything and you are just, a witness and you don't participate or partake in the Maya. That is, there are different technologies for that, which Art of Living, promotes. There are various beautiful methods. If that is your goal, Mandala Vatika is not your path. Mandala Vatika is all about understanding. Yes, we know the Maya is an illusion, but we live in this illusion. Therefore, how can we exist, enjoy, and be the best versions of ourselves in this illusion? Can we surf the waves rather than fight and be battered by the waves? This is Mandala Vatika. So, to answer your question, Hari, there is nothing that will take away or reduce interest when it comes to Mandala Vatika technology for any tattva. Up to now, we have had Siddhi Vinayaka. Siddhi Vinayaka is also a male energy. But we have doing Siddhi Vinayaka Puja does not make us become less interested in the Maya. We are removing obstacles in our life so that we can participate in the Maya. Similarly, any other male energy will help us to do just the same. Yeah. Like for Shiva, there is a beautiful Mandala Vatika, which is called the Sudarshana Mandala Vatika. Beautiful, beautiful Mandala Vatika. What is Sudarshana? Sudarshana is when you will get the darshan of yourself. You know, the most beautiful darshan you can have, the Sudarshan, is the darshan of yourself. That means it is a tattva that helps you truly see who you are. You know, so Sudarshana Mandala Vatika. But Sudarshana Mandala Vatika doesn't make you less interested in life. It makes you the best version. It brings out the best version of you in this Maya. So I think that is how it is. So Rudra is asking the question, how come it affected the whole planet? Please elaborate. So really, how did the Shiva temple that was installed during the COVID in our ashram affect the whole planet? Well, if we understand how our planet is a part of the creation of the universe, what created this fundamental wave functions like Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, blah, 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 you know, fundamental things. So when you have installed perfectly in accordance with our ancient tenets, a Sahasra Mandala of Shiva, and then made that particular Shiva temple, you are invoking a fundamental energy that is not just belonging to the ashram. It belongs to the entire planet and more than the planet, the entire universe. But at that time, there was something that needed to happen because COVID was really affecting the entire planet. And I have no doubt that this particular temple that was installed by Gurudev and the sthapana of that happened right bang in the middle of COVID. I believe it was definitely for betterment of the energies or stabilizing of the energies in the universe and especially in our lives during the COVID on our planet. So I think that is definitely something. I'm sure Gurudev will, you know, give us more insights into these things, you know, later. So I think I would have answered that question of Rudra there. Hari is one of our teachers, shortly going to be a teacher of Mandala Vatika. I mean, he will be very soon announcing. We have 20 people who will be soon taking Mandala Vatika courses. And I would ask Hari to share some of his thoughts on what I have discussed so far, or if there's anything that he can add to what we have been discussing. Hari, platform is yours.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhakar. Thank you. Yeah, I think the one thing I wanted to share is not, I mean, in terms of the knowledge, every time I would really recommend all of us to keep coming for sessions like this. And because though I've been through this journey like for the last 2-3 years, every time I come and sit here and listen to Prabhakar, you know, the knowledge here is very, I would say Mandala Vatika is very multi-layered. I know like all of us would have taken, a lot of us would have done many art of living courses, but I feel Mandala Vatika is a very different take on things because the knowledge is really very multi-layered and there is a lot to explore. So what I wanted to say was like, it's good for us to keep coming for sessions like this, keep exploring, and a lot of things reveal themselves in due course of time. And it is truly an exploration from that perspective. And I'm sure even for Prabhakar ji, if you see like his journey, like he's now exploring the Kala Bhairav mandala, and at his level, he's going through his challenges in terms of, and he's spoken about that. in the last session or so, how the tattva is taking time to reveal itself. So it's a very beautiful journey, and all of us are going through that journey in our own way. So just keep going through it. Come for sessions like this and explore. Keep exploring the the mandalas. So that's what I wanted to share. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hari. Thank you. I would also look at, there is another question from Tony. Tony today has a lot of questions. Thank you. Is there a connection between Jyotish and Mandala? Yeah. So again, a question where I do not have the domain expertise to answer or comment on astrology. Yeah. Because I am not an expert on astrology. Therefore, I am not really able to look at astrology deeply as I would Mandala Vatika. I would not have that ability to look deeply into astrology. But what could I understand intuitively is that astrology, which is based on the movement of celestial objects through the passage of time, are said to have recurring cycles which affect our lives. I mean, if I had to sort of summarize the principle of Jyotish, I would say that it is a science where the movement of celestial bodies happen in the universe. They are of cyclical nature, and those cyclical phases of the movement and the interaction of these celestial bodies, they reflect in our existence and our reality. This is what I would, as a very novice, as a novice in astrology, would be my understanding. Now, if I take that a step further, and if you see, for example, the dance of Venus around the earth, influenced by the sun and the moon, you have many of these memes going around on Facebook and WhatsApp these days, or YouTube shorts, or, reels and things like that. You see this dance of Venus, Now, if you look at it, it's sacred geometry. It's pure sacred geometry. A lot of the movement of celestial objects mirror and imbibe sacred geometry. And they are cyclical, which means that they are, in a way, in passage of time, they are fractal. If you took time as the fourth dimension, these cycles represent repetitive patterns in time. So if you looked at it across time, you would see them reflected as fractals. To me, is there a connection with Mandala Vatika? Just based on this, looks to me that there is. What exactly is the connection? I would not know. I am not an authority on Jyotish. I would not venture to comment on it. Intuitively, is there a connection? I feel there should be. But what exactly is the connection? I don't know at this moment, because I am not an expert in Jyotish. But I think you get the picture. Somewhere, the sacred geometry that is etched by these celestial bodies on the fabric of space-time indicate sacred geometry, and the dance of the planets and everything else, I'm sure it has, there must be some connection there. Yeah, for sure. Maybe mandalas can be used as remedies, for sure. I mean, that's what we use mandala vatikas. I mean, if you're stagnating in life, invite Durga Devi. She's the queen of chaos. She will shake up everything in your life so that you attain a new equilibrium, a higher equilibrium. Yeah. So, of course, mandalas, that's the point of Mandala Vatika. Yeah. Point of Mandala Vatika is to use these fundamental tattvas to create the best version of yourself. So, and to bring you in alignment with the universe. So I think, that's a given. Last time you said there is a place where time is zero, a space of timelessness. Yes, Archana, but that would be a spoiler alert. That's what I'm working on with Kala Bhairava Mandala Vatika. Yeah. So that is what we have. We have me and a small team of people, including Hari here, who is working and co-creating this mandala, which is called the Kala Bhairava Mandala Vatika. And the question you have asked is actually what we are working on. So it would be a bit of a spoiler alert at this point to disclose where we are headed there. So we will ask you to wait a bit till the course gets announced. I also have with me two more people who are teachers to be of Mandala Vatika, and I would ask uh, Amrita, who's here. Amrita, if you are here, then could you spotlight yourself and share something about the journey that you're going
Sure.
through?
Sure, sir.
Yeah,
Can
that's
you?
Amrita for you. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev, everyone. So yes, the journey, and sir, I just finished my third semester CST, and I joined back a little late today to the session. And right when I joined, you were talking about diseases and why those happen. And I was just trying to relate it to what we just learned in the last 5 days and the last semesters. So, journey wise, yes, I mean, I had no plans into coming into this, but then Mandala Vatika came into life, and then things changed, and that's how I'm here doing this course somehow. And just wanted to share, sir. Hariji said it's multi-layered. I feel, I mean, in the first semester we talked about dynamic stillness, and I so related it to Nasadiya Sukta. In second semester, they taught us Purna Mantra and something around holistic shift there. In the third semester, now you are talking about resonance, and that's exactly what we were learning today in the class early in the morning. So I feel it's all related. Somehow it all makes sense after doing Mandala Vatika. That has been my feeling for so many things, not just this. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Amrita. Thank you for sharing that. And Nishala is also here. Nishala, would you like to spotlight yourself as well? Nishala, are you there?
Yeah,
Well,
just wanted to have to sit down. Yeah, sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could add spotlight if you wish. Yeah. Hi. Jai Gurudev. Nishala.
Jai Gurudev. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhakar ji. So my journey with Mandala Vatika has been, I think, miraculous. And also, I feel that, when the time comes for me to do a mandala or to do a puja, I get to know, I mean, intuitively, I know I have to do it. So maybe for the last maybe 3-4 weeks, I don't feel the need. There might be a little bit of a break, but then I know, okay, so now is the time. So like today, it just so happened, I just was starting to get ready to, do the Siddhi Vinayaka Mandala Vatika. And Prabhakar ji, thanks for encouraging us to do the Agnihotra also. So I've been doing Agnihotra as well. And something just amazing happened when I did Agnihotra today. After the Agnihotra, I just started chanting Nasadiya Sutta. It has, I never had that plan that I have to, do this in such a sequence or whatever. It's been a couple weeks since I chanted, and it was so beautiful. And I don't know, there was some things started making sense after that. It's been a very surreal day for me today. And it just so happened that I bumped into this meeting and you had called me. So yeah, so continue with Mandala Vatika is what I say. And again, it is not like you just when you feel the need, something will pull you in that direction. That's what has been happening to me. Pull me in the direction, and then I just do that puja. That's how it's been with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nisha. Thank you. Thank you. So 9:30 and we will wrap the session up. Thank you all for being with me. And I really look forward to, my next session with you, the last Sunday of next month. So once again, thank you all so much for joining me. Om Guru Bhyoya Namaha. Hari Om. Jai Gurudev.